You spoke about finding your characters within yourself or within the truth of who the character is.
Yeah.
But do you ever find the need to go and speak to other people to find the sorts? I mean, you said
Sure.
this is biography. And can you talk about what you look for in the people you interact with,
Sure.
whether it's a lawyer or whether it's an HIV
Sure.
positive?
I've done a couple of biographical pieces. So like I said, when I went and talked to Ron's family, sister and daughter, and when I heard those tapes and I knew here's a guy selling his Buyers Club to a guy who's going to make a movie, you got to go, where's he telling the truth? And where do I need to read between the lines about who he really was? Because I'm playing him, it's live. He's just coming into this. He doesn't have the Buyers Club yet in this film. Secondly, when I went to meet his family, you're going to talk about somebody in your family that's no longer here. It's real easy to give somebody the greatest hits version of who that person was at his best. The things they say at the funeral. His family was so honest about who he was and who he was not. You know, I mean, he stole my cars twice. Never got him back. One of them they just found in New Jersey. And then they go, oh, he was a son of it. And they'd always say, but you couldn't help but love him. And then, you know, I've done others where I really tried to, for instance, I really tried to study the person and emulate them. I've also done them like in Bernie where I didn't want to. My imagination seemed so clear with who the guy was, and Rick Linklater, the director, knew him. So I said, I need to go through, you're my meter, because I'm not going to go, I'm choosing not to go study this guy. Because where my imagination is with what you've written on the page, I just don't feel like I want or need anymore. So I said, you tell me if I'm going too much or not enough. And, you know, Rick and I work where he always takes me right up to, if it's comedy, usually he'll take me right up to before we get to caricature, you know. But he and I have a real similar sensibility about that. So I trusted Rick on that. Look, there are other people. There are, you know, people that I've talked about that out, and I'm not going to say their names because I haven't made the movies, but their stories are still out there to be made. And what you hear how them talk about themselves on Friday night is great. Talk to them Sunday night. I never spoke like that. No, I would never use those words. I never did those things. And you're like, oh, okay, Sunday came. We went to church. You know, thinking about postmortem. I need, you know, how am I going to look? What shadow am I leaving? Talk to them next Thursday night. I was wilder than this. I did this, and then, so you have to read between the lines. And usually, I think the Friday night version is more true, who they are. So, gotta listen to things. I try to listen to things like that. And that's what I mean when I say read between the lines a little bit. And a lot of times, it's what they're saying when they're not talking, or when you catch them when they don't feel like they don't feel like it's a proverbial Sunday night, and they need to give the best version of themselves.